Good morning, everybody. How are you? It's probably about 11 o'clock. I think it's a Thursday. And we're having some pretty nice weather. So right now, of course, there's a lot of hurricanes bearing down on North Carolina, which scares the heck out of me, even though I don't live there. I live in Florida. But I'm just sort of, not in a mocking way, but I'm just feeling thankful today because we have this beautiful weather. It's usually best in the summers when we have some partly cloudy, because then you're not getting the full brunt of the sun, because we have somewhere in the neighborhood of like 5 months of like 90-degree weather from like May till, I don't know, October. We have just solid, like there's never a day where it's 70 or 80 degrees. I mean, if it rains all day, maybe it'd be 80 degrees, but barring that, we're usually hitting the 90s consistently for at least 3-4 months. It's like winter time. Everybody just stays inside. Anyway, I'm doing this vlog to give you some good news. Why do I always have these things in? Some good news, not some bad news about weather. The good news is that I finally started my photography website, which is called Pro One Photo. There's another site out there called Pro One Photography, not to be mixed up with Pro One Photo. And the reason I chose that name is because I used to have a tennis racket called the Pro One, and I thought that sounds really professional. Pro One, it's professional and it's number one at the same time. I don't know. I struggled for a long time to figure out a professional sounding name. It was going to be Pro G, but then I decided to go Pro One. So I'm very excited about that because I hope to become a full-time photographer, or at least a part-time photographer, and make a living doing that, as well as other things that I do, video and things like that. So it's pretty exciting to have your own website. I've never had my own website. I've had, Facebook pages and all that kind of stuff, but so there's a lot of anxiety going to it. I talked about this about a couple months ago about starting it, and I wanted to wait till I actually uploaded the website to talk about it, rather than keep saying I'm going to do a website. I hate when people talk about doing stuff. I like people who do stuff, not talk about stuff. Mostly what I'm doing now is youth football and baseball is what I'm going to be concentrating on. And hopefully to branch out later into other things like portrait photography and active photography, like taking pictures of like 4K races and stuff like that, road races, and maybe whatever is out there. They have these things that are, I think, called mud races now and stuff like that. So I hope to cover that and sort of parlay that into part of what I do, is being an active or action photographer, and not necessarily get into like doing it like professional sports or anything like that, because I'm not really interested in that. But I do enjoy youth sports and youth football and things like that, because it's I guess the atmosphere is just fun, So most of the stuff you'll see on there is photos of my grandson's team, the Sun Devils, and there's some baseball photos on there. But like I said, eventually it's going to be branching out into landscape photography. If you ever follow my Instagram, Mr. John Swift on Instagram, I do a lot of like landscape, just beautiful trees and sky and beach and just stuff like that. I think it's harder to make money off that unless you're established. So at some point I'm gonna maybe try to have an online store where I can do that. But I'm starting, like I said, where I think I can make money off the bat, because I have to pay for the website and I have to pay, for costs, and I need to upgrade camera equipment and all that kind of stuff. And eventually, I'd like to have maybe a studio or share a studio with somebody and those kind of things. And so, but it's just a beginning. It's just a start, and you have to keep positive thoughts, which lately I've just been really struggling with, is keeping a positive outlook, a confident outlook. And I don't really understand what that is self-doubt. I don't really understand where that comes from. whether it's lack of confidence or just something in my brain that has always been underconfident. I am at a loss for understanding where I had these anxiety worries where it's not going to work out, and I'm going to have to do something else. But I tell you guys this stuff because I think it's a common thing to struggle with that for everybody. Maybe there's some people like Elon Musk out there who are just like, I want to build an electric car. I'm going to build an electric car. I want to build a space program, so I'm going to build a space program. Maybe he wrestles with self-doubt too. I don't know. I think anytime you're a creative person, photographer, artist, anything, I think you always struggle with yourself about, is this good enough? My grandfather was a commercial artist, and he was a painter. So he started out in commercial art, I'd say in the early 1900s, because he was really old. He was born in 1891, so he was back in the old days when they were just getting photography. So when you did magazines or print, you had to have an illustration done like in pen, like black and white pen, for them to print it. So he was involved in doing a lot of that, illustrations for magazines covers and sometimes paintings. And he was really successful. He worked in Philadelphia. And I come to learn later that he would paint something, not like it, and then just stick it in the closet. And apparently he had a lot of stuff in his studio when he was moving and getting rid of all this stuff. A guy told me he was an art dealer and wanted to buy that stuff, and my grandfather would not allow him to buy those paintings because they weren't up to the expectations or the standards of my grandfather, which is a funny story. I met an art dealer who wanted to buy that stuff later. I think it was like 2 years ago I met a guy. He knew my grandfather who passed away in '91. Funny story. So I'm the same way. I'm very, very critical of my own work, and I think a lot of artists are that way in general. You just have expectations of only your best work. It's like you pick out every little detail. Anyway, so I wanted this to be a shorter video, so we're at 7 minutes. So by my standards, that'll be short. So go check out the links if you want. Maybe if I can remember, maybe I'll try to put a link on the screen, but I always forget to do that, so check it in the bottom. Why is every loud car on the planet and lawnmower here today? So go check out that link, pro1photo.com. It may, like I said, there's another website that's called Pro1 Photography that may come up, but if you go to the link, I'm sure it'll go right to it. We'll just wait for this really loud car to go by. And the lawnmower. So anyway, just thought I'd share that with you guys, and it's good news, and I'm just trying to celebrate the fact that for months of procrastination, I finally got the gumption to sort of get that website together after actually I failed one time to put the website together. I just kind of quit and finally finished it, and it's up and it's running, and you can go see photos if you're interested in that, and if you want to buy photos, you can buy photos. But eventually it's going to be like an online store where you can buy stuff, And I'm also trying to do custom t-shirts on there too. So anyway, go check it out. You guys have a great day. This weekend I might go to Universal Studios and go to Halloween Horror Nights. So depending on how dark it is, I might be shooting a vlog there in Orlando. Anyway, so you guys have a great week. We'll see you in the next video. And if you're in North Carolina or South Carolina, be careful and use your common sense, and I hope for the best for you guys. Praying for you guys. See you later.